Hello, all our lovely spooky friends, and welcome to another Storytime episode with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we are here to read you guys some homegrown horrors.
Indeed we are. I'm pretty excited. We're doing our live show as per usual, Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's actually streaming to youtube.com/scarish, which is nice. And it's also at twitch.tv/scarish podcast, which it was last week.
So, Adam, what are homegrown horrors?
So homegrown horrors are the paranormal, creepy, scary, funny, and sometimes coincidental stories that you folks send us. I like when we get the stories about how you went exploring when you were younger or even as an adult through like some paranormal investigation group or something like that. And they're always really funny when nothing paranormal happens but a bunch of crazy hijinks ensue, which basically amounts to people being stupid or drunk or both. And we just have that hashtag by Ashley for when people do stupid stuff in groups. So, yeah, it's fun stuff. And we have 6 that we are going to read you this episode. Pretty excited to do that. Hopefully the stream goes well for all you folks watching, and we appreciate all of you, and we appreciate everyone who has sent us a story. Robin, I'm going to toss this your way. How can folks reach us if they want to send us a homegrown horror?
You guys can actually reach us by emailing storytime@scarish.com or going to the website scarish.com, going to contact us, and there's a whole form you can fill out. You guys don't have to worry about going to your email and trying
Shout
to
out to
figure that
Venom
out.
Snake 1998 who just subscribed on Twitch
Thank
Prime.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
And then what else is there? That's it, right? Oh, well, you can send us stuff to Facebook, facebook.com/Scarish Podcast.
Yep.
And Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Instagram @Scarish Podcast, and the other one, Twitter @Scarish Pod.
Twitter.
Shout out to Carly, who just resubscribed for the 8th
Thank you.
month. She put a message. It's a heart times 8. And I'm going to give you a heart times 100 because today is Carly's birthday. Happy birthday,
All I'm
Carly.
thinking of that stupid song by...
It's your birthday today. The birthday song by John LaJoy. I think that's how you say his name. Taco from The League.
It's also Andrew's birthday today.
Really?
So,
oh, yeah, it is.
happy
Shout out to
birthday.
Andrew, the sexiest wrestler I know or exists on the planet. So shout out to all of our spooky friends. We appreciate every single one of you. And I think I'm actually going to go first.
All right.
Because I said we have 6, and what I really meant to say was we have 6 plus 1. Because we have one that's not a story. It was just sent to us as a way of like saying it. Literally, the subject is please read this on the podcast. So I'm just going to read it, and then you folks will understand why it's not a story.
Okay.
So it goes like this. Please read on the podcast. I actually didn't proof this. So if it's something
oh my
really
gosh.
bad.
Is this going to be something that's just like, I don't want to toot my own horn.
No,
but toot, toot.
I skimmed it a little bit, and it says in here that there's not a story attached to this. So
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. I wanted to just tell everyone that Adam and Robin are amazing people, and no matter who you are, they will love and appreciate you. Just take a second to look back and think how lucky you are. Adam and Robin are super funny and entertaining. They got me through having no friends. They probably helped you sometimes too. Adam and Robin stay up all night, and then Adam stays up longer to edit. And by the way, Robin stays up to do everything for our social media. And I shouldn't say everything, but 95% of it are logos and stuff like that. And then she does school at the same time, full-time, or I shouldn't say full-time, but work.
I just found out I'm going to be in school for another 4 years. It's going to kill me.
And then on top of that, she is also doing all the stuff for Level Up Expo. But yeah, they go on to say they do that just for our 1 to 2 hours of entertainment. Sorry, not sorry for not sharing a story, but I thought people should know and acknowledge how you two are so many people's heroes.
Thank you so much.
Super binge-worthy, in parentheses, smiley face. And they sent some fan art, and it's pretty awesome. So I just want to say thank you, Cooper, for sending that.
Thank you.
I saw that it wasn't going to be, at the bottom it says sorry for not sharing a story, and I was like, all right, well, we'll go ahead and read this because it's short, and it's the next one, so it
and
doesn't
you
make
don't
sense
have to
not
be
to.
sorry for not having a story.
You don't.
Because these messages seriously help us keep
You
on
have
chugging on.
no idea how much it helps, because there's times where like Robin was sick on Monday, and when I came home from work, I knew we had to record. Bless you. See, told you. And
Sorry.
she was sleeping because she was sick. She was worn out. She had a long day. And I was like, I don't know if I can wake her up to record an episode.
Didn't you find my laptop on the bed?
Yeah.
I was like,
and she was doing research and writing her script, and then she woke up, finished it, and we recorded. So it's just dedication, and we have that because you folks encourage us, and it's amazing. And I just want to say thank you to all of you.
yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Whoever is here right now watching us live, you are awesome because you took time out of your day to sit down and watch us just talk at you.
You the real MVP. So that's my first kind of story. So then, Robin, go ahead and read yours, and then we'll move over to stream chat and see what folks have to say about the first like story.
So the first story is also going to be super short for my end. It goes, hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. I have a story from my sister. One night, while my sister was sleeping, she'd woken up to a noise, and standing right in front of her bed was a mini-looking Slender Man.
What? Oh, that's called an alien, dude.
What?
Yeah, Slenderman looks... I thought Slenderman, when people first started drawing it, was like the gray aliens that are really tall and lanky with really long features, which, by the way, I still am convinced that's the imagery that person used when they wrote about Slenderman. So.
Is aliens?
It's just that look of an alien that's really just too tall.
It's just really tall, super long arms, super long legs.
Disproportional
and has like
human
all
size.
these other arms behind it too.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I've
supposed to
never seen
have
that.
a whole bunch of other things. All right, anyway. Well, that's what my sister said it looked like, and all she said she could do was move her head. Then the next night, she saw the same thing, but instead it was in front of her face. And then she let out a loud screech. The Slender baby disappeared in a snap. Then the night after that, she didn't see anything else. Hope this story is not too short and that you enjoyed it. P.S. You guys are epic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's short and sweet. It's like to the point. Things
It sounds like a mixture of like the paranormal thing and sleep experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or sleep experience. Sleep paralysis. A little bit tired. Sleep paralysis is kind of like... Because we actually just posted that thing. At least I think I did, or multiple people did.
The one someone posted of... It was like a cartoon comic strip where
of
it's
the
like
demon
the sleep demon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The
Go ahead.
paralysis demon, and it was laying or sitting on top of the guy sleeping. And he's like, hey, you want to hang out? Let's talk. And...
He doesn't say anything because you can't when you're in sleep paralysis.
And so he just looks so sad in the corner
He's like,
by
okay,
himself.
that's cool. I'll just hang up on myself.
And then the guy writes a note to him like, hey, sleep paralysis demon, can't talk when you're here, but you can totally hang out with me. And it was just so cute because it's just like sleep paralysis demon, super cute in bed.
The last cell, yeah, is them like laying next to each other and like sleep paralysis demon is like got his hand out like he's just bullshitting. It's super cute.
It's very cute.
That's what I thought of when I heard of Mini Slenderman is like maybe it's the same thing and maybe it just wants to hang out and is waiting for you to give it permission. But who really knows? No one. Or someone. Who knows? I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to move on into a story, and this one came to us on Facebook, and it is from Thomas. And it starts out like this. This is my homegrown horror. My name is Tom. I already said that.
All right.
I've been thinking about this story and wondering if I should tell it because it was at a dark time in my life, but I think it could help me. And I'm glad that they sent it to us.
We're very glad that you are reaching out thinking like, this will help me kind of
get it off my chest.
Right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's all you need is just to get it off your chest.
You just need to tell someone sometimes. And it does say that we can share this on the podcast, so good to know. This happened about 2 years ago. I had been having a really hard time and had been struggling really badly with depression. One night I went to a really dark place, so I decided to try and commit suicide. I took a bunch of pills, and before I knew it, I passed out. I was woken by a shake, and I felt a feeling like I've never felt, like someone was with me, and then a feeling of hope, like everything was going to be okay. I got up and stumbled to my parents' room and told them what I had done. Still to this day, I haven't told anyone in my family because I don't want to seem crazy, but I still believe that someone was there that day to save my life. By the way, I really love the pod, and if you want to share this on the pod, you can. I'm doing good now, and always keep that day in mind to remember everything is okay. That is super intense and super nice for you to share because that is a hard thing to share. And honestly, it sounds like, I mean, I don't toss the word around a lot, but that's like kind of miracle status right there. Because usually when you hear people talk about how they attempted suicide, someone in particular saved their life or you went to the hospital and got your stomach pumped or something like that. But when you actually attempt it and pass out and then you wake up and you're completely fine, that's a completely different thing. So yeah, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
All right. So this one is from... Hold on, I might have to sneeze again.
Everyone pause, and then Robin, say something about the email that I just read. That way, we have a nice, like a gooder transition.
It was a really good email, and sometimes it's really hard to talk about things that are part of a dark time in your life because I know I don't like to talk about it. So, thank you so much for opening up.
Yeah,
to
we
us
appreciate
about
that. Even if you can't open up to people that you see face to face, I think that's the perfect way to do it is through us because we totally encourage it. And if you don't want to share it on the podcast, but just want to share it with someone, hey, we're here for that too. So awesome.
This next one I'm going to read is from Graciela. Graciela?
What up, Graciela?
It goes, hey, Adam and Robin. Hey. I posted this on
Hey,
the...
sorry, coffee.
I posted this on the Homegrown Horror channel on Discord a little while ago, but I don't know if you ever pull stories from there, so I'll submit it here, and this time with way more detail. So that worked out because we didn't pull it from there, and now we have way more details that
Hopefully
we wouldn't have had.
we didn't pull it from there. Maybe there's so many details we won't even notice if it's the same story twice. Fingers crossed. We'll find out, ho. We'll find out.
Did you say
though?
ho?
I did say ho. I didn't mean
You're
to.
a
That's why
hoe.
I mean, fuck you. I tried to cover it up. Stop calling me out.
I'll call you out whenever I feel like it. I have already submitted one of my night terrors. It was the one where my partner got sucked into it with me and my entire family ended up in my room. Well, that was a pretty extreme one because it's the first one I had with someone else in bed with me. This one happened.
Is so funny, though, because everyone winds up screaming at each other in the end.
Why are you screaming?
I love that.
The one happened more recently, and it's not normal. More background, I had a coworker who told me she has night terrors too, but when she talked about hers, she was always much more lucid than I am in mine usually. In mine, I see something and start yelling/screaming in bed until I snap out of it, and that's it. She told me that once she ran out of her house before she snapped out of it. This is kind of like that. I'm gonna imagine that it's sort of like Freddy Krueger, where she's in the dream and so she was able to run out of the house and do all this stuff before someone woke up her body.
Freddy Krueger, based on a true story.
Is it?
Kind of, actually. I said that as a joke, but the truth of the matter is that like 3 kids died from like the same dream demon, like in the 80s. And the LA Times wrote an article about it.
But was it real?
It was real. Like, it was legit. The LA Times wrote the article on the fact that this happened, and people don't know what happened, and it's super creepy. It came from China, and it was weird because you usually don't get news like that from China. But Wes Craven read the article while he was on a plane, and he's like, holy shit, I'm turning this into a movie. That's where he got the idea from.
All right.
I have scoured the internet looking for that LA Times article to try and get information so I can research it, because I would love to do the true story behind Nightmare on Elm Street and then have nightmares again for 5 years. So, yeah, I kind of pictured the same thing, like in the third one where he's like marionetting that person off the edge of the building. It's a really bad way to die.
I want to watch the first one again.
First one's
Freddy
good.
Krueger.
It's very good. The second one's also good.
Going back to the email, my partner was sleeping over at my house again, and I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have another terror. Maybe that's what brought it on, or something, I don't know. I'm falling asleep, and the next thing I know, I snap my eyes open, and there's a child in my room. It's going to start singing that Freddy Krueger
I
thing.
was going to say punch it in the face immediately and then be like, oh, that's my sister. My bad.
How does the Freddy Krueger thing go again?
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah,
3,
that's
4,
right.
better lock your doors. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. You're welcome.
I have chills.
Now just imagine it being sang slowly in a little girl's voice with like really creepy, slow,
Yeah.
high-pitched music in the
Okay.
background.
All I could think of was, how the fuck did you get into my house? I think I thought this because right before bed, I checked the front door to make sure I locked it. And I did. But in my terror, I wildly thought that maybe I didn't. Was this a black-eyed child? Did it have black eyes?
For some reason, black-eyed children need to be allowed into your home. Also, they're almost 100%
Well, so do
certainly
vampires.
fake. So, well, it depends. It really depends.
What?
I mean, like in most of the iterations of vampires, you have to invite them in, but in some iterations,
Like
they
what?
just walk right in. Like John Carpenter's Vampires. You don't have to invite them in. They can just come the F in. Like the beginning of that movie, they're all hanging out at a hotel room, and like the head vampire shows up and just walks in and kills everyone, which is an awesome scene in that movie.
Yeah, well, it's not awesome lore.
Okay, some of them like can walk into rooms without being invited, and some of them sparkle. So fudge you. How about that? How about that?
Touche.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. I've lost my place. All I'm
That's what
thinking
happens
about
when
is
you
Twilight
get
now.
owned.
Okay, so it looked like a little boy, maybe 4 to 5 years old, and he had a sort of gray/bluish cast to him. Totally a ghost. He was wearing pajama-like clothes, and he was barefoot. The really freaky part is I have a platform bed that's only a half a foot off the ground, so he was right next to my face and staring at me. He had a blank stare. I don't actually remember if he had black eyes. I think he just had regular eyes. This is different than my other night terror I've had because usually I just see smoky shapes or tall human-like forms. Once, I saw what looked like an old man where he was still sort of smoky and indistinct. This kid looked clearer and more solid. I remember gasping and it felt like the air left my lungs. This is different too because I'm usually screaming. Then, the next thing I know, I'm out of my bed in a flash and standing next to my door with my hand on my light switch. This is still really close to the boy because my bed's right next to the door to my room. I was staring at him with my eyes so wide they started to hurt, trying to make my eyes adjust to the dark so that he would go away. The way my night terrors usually work is I'm terrified, but then I realize it's not real and I snap out of it. Well, I'm staring at this little boy and hoping he's going to go away. I didn't turn on my light because I think I was too scared that I would turn it on and he wouldn't disappear. I'd be scared too. I'd be so scared. Like,
you just got to try
this is what I live in now. He's here.
You flip the light on. You see if they go away. If they don't go away, you turn the light off. And then you start flicking it on and off and on and off. And then you dance a little bit. And if they join in, then they're not an evil ghost. If they don't join in, then you should run.
But what if it's like lights out? Where you turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, and it gets closer.
Then you should just leave the lights off and just be like, take me away.
That's when I realized that I'm talking. This entire time I've been saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Over and over and over without taking a breath. He's still staring at me, which means he turned his face to me when I jumped out of bed, and I'm thinking that this is lasting way too long. Finally, my partner wakes up, and that's what snaps me out of it. My partner rolled over, saw me, and sleepily asked me, what are you doing? I looked back at the boy, and he disappeared, kind of like when your eyes adjust and you can finally make out what you're really looking at. Lo and behold, I'm staring right at my new air purifier, which happens to be roughly the same size and height of a small 4 to 5-year-old boy. Needless to say, that thing is no longer right next to the side of my bed. I keep thinking back to my coworker's story about her running out of her house. And after this night terror, I can't help but think that that's eventually going to happen to me. I don't really understand what causes night terrors. Sometimes I think that I'm just afraid, and something about my brain chemistry makes me think I see things. I would much rather it be that than that my room is haunted, or worse, I'm haunted.
Or your air purifier is haunted by the spirit of a young boy.
Well, I hope that was scary enough. Have a good night, folks. See you when I have my next terror. Spooky Zora. Thank you so much.
I enjoy your stories so much, so I always love to hear from you. That said, I hope you don't have to send us another spooky story. Maybe an update later on where, like, they all went away and everything is good now. Me and my air purifier are good.
Instead of having horrifying things happen constantly.
Yes. I don't wish that upon anyone, but if it happens, share it with us. That's all I'm saying. So that's really funny. I wonder if you would have flipped the lights on, if your eyes would have adjusted so that you could have seen that it was the air purifier a little bit sooner. But who knows? That's one of those things where it's like you don't know in the moment what to do because you're so freaking scared. And no matter what you do, you think it's the wrong decision. So it's fun stuff. What would you have done?
Turn the light on.
Okay, well, there you go. I think most of us probably would have turned the light on. Some of us might have just tried to run out of the house.
I probably would have done the same thing where I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And probably squealed and squeaked and trying to run, and like open the door and get out of there as fast as I can.
So this is another reason why punching it is probably not the best idea, because two of the things that could have happened if you punched it were, one,
you go into light speed.
It's an actual, what are you talking about? I hate you so much. One is you punch it and it's an actual child who you have just struck. And two is that you punch your air purifier and probably break the thing. But then again, I guess they moved it out of their room, so it wouldn't have mattered. So, good stuff.
Cool.
So I'll move on to my second story of the episode. And this one's subject is my scary-ish story. Pretty solid subject. And it starts out like this. Hello, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
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 My name is Abby, A-B-I. I'm from Indonesia. Oh, shit. Email from Indonesia. It is so cool when we get international emails. It makes me so excited.
It blows my mind that people in other countries listen.
We appreciate it.
It's so cool. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
This is one of the most common things I see from people who are emailing us that are not from the country we are from. They write, my apologies if my English is terrible, in perfectly written English, which is something we don't get from native English speakers. Love your podcast. I found it on Spotify and heard it for these 3 days, even when I go to sleep. Wow, that's some binging. I am very honored that you binged it. I am very
honored.
That's pretty awesome. Okay.
I also would not recommend it if you don't want weird dreams.
Someone posted that people, shout out to Akasuna no Kairi 1013 who just resubscribed for the 8th month.
Thank you so much.
And 777 who just resubscribed for the 3rd month.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
But someone posted on our Scary Spooky Friends group on Facebook that people who enjoy watching scary movies for fun and can go to sleep and not be like scared or worried or have any consequences are possibly potential psychopaths. Someone commented on it and said citation needed, which I haven't seen since college. Absolutely. And I was like, this is so good. I had to click like on it. I tried to click love and then I was like, it wouldn't let me like do the love thing. Yeah. Sometimes my app is weird. But I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. When I read that, I have a higher pain tolerance than normal, I think. And I definitely watch scary movies, horror movies for fun before bed. the other day when I put on that stupid one. That's not
Freddy
really a
vs.
scary.
Jason.
It's a horror movie, but it's not like
It's a horrible movie.
Oh.
First person to ever make that pun. Someone send me a fucking medal. What?
Marley's watching.
Oh no! Please don't let that be her next word. She has a word already, right?
I don't know. A few, I think.
They
Pretty
Snapchatted
sure.
one of her first words. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it was mama.
there's a whole bunch of words
Anyways.
so far. Anyway, no. So if I'm a psychopath, then whatever. I don't care.
What's interesting is people. I mean, we're way off the rails here. But what's interesting is people use the word psychopath to describe someone who's volatile or has like wild emotions. Psychopaths don't feel emotion. Like they don't feel connection to things. They're just numb. So it's so odd that people have taken that word because it is such a frightening thing and such an unreasonable thing to try and like empathize with. Like you can't imagine what it would be like to not have feelings, and attached it to people who are the exact opposite of what a psychopath is. Like you see someone going absolutely crazy, they're like, "Oh, you psycho." I'm always like, that's not clinically appropriate. Someone get out your DSM-5.
In Sherlock, don't they like try to call him a psychopath? And he's like, I'm a high-functioning sociopath.
Yeah, and those are very different things. All right, we're going to get back to this email now, and I love that it says, okay, let's get to the story. Because it's like you knew.
You knew what we were going to do.
This is my first paranormal encounter ever. This happened when I was when I was in elementary school. It happened early Sunday mornings, 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m.-ish. Me, my older sister, and my older cousin were riding a motorcycle around the neighbors, in parentheses, yes, I know it's 3 people on one bike. It's pretty normal here, LOL.
What?
And then also in parentheses, it says, and it was my older sister that was driving it. Okay, good to know. So if anything goes wrong...
how does a child like ride a motorcycle?
If anything goes wrong, we're blaming the older sister. That's what I know. It was a normal ride until we had to turn left. At that left turn, on my left side, I saw this elderly man wearing a white sleeveless shirt and white short pants. His eyes were staring across the street and his mouth was wide open.
What?
His face...
Alien.
His face
He's
was
an alien.
pale as frick. Whiter than his shirt or his pants. I kept staring at him for a couple of seconds before we couldn't see him. I don't know if my cousin and my sister saw him too or not. I never asked them or told them this story. And that's it for the story. So you just see this dude standing there, pale white in white shorts, white shirt. I don't know why it reminded me of It Follows, but that's exactly what it reminded me of. Like, this person is clearly not in control of their own body.
Yeah. Or it's not a real person.
It's super creepy. That's it for the story. I have another one, but I want to know if you guys want to hear it or not. Absolutely.
Always send the stories.
Because it's no more scarier than this one that is okay. Love your podcast. Keep on creeping on.
Thank you so much.
Here's the thing about your story. You might not think of it as like traditional creep or scary, but it's definitely creepy. This is one of those things that someone's going to have a nightmare about, where they're going to be doing something normal and they're going to look over and see a pale dude in white shorts and a white sleeveless shirt staring at them with their mouth open.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get an email that they had a nightmare about this dude. And we're going to have to give him a name like Not Slender Man.
I just can't. I can imagine it. I can see it.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine anybody actually standing out there doing that unless they were an alien or something to that effect.
It's just creepy, man. It's like, it's not normal human behavior. It's like an alien just took over a human body and was like, let's try this thing out. Like turning the eyes to maximum level and the eyes go wide. It's like opening the mouth to maximum width. And then like a bike of kids drives by and you're just like staring at them while you're trying out your new human skin. Fun stuff. All right.
So this next email, the final email of the night, right?
Not true. I still have one to go.
Oh, my final email of the night goes, hey, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hey. I just wanted to say how big a fan I am of the podcast. I've been binging nonstop for the past 2 weeks or so. Pre-disclaimer, because of the nature of the podcast, you can choose to share the story or not because of what happens. I don't mind if you read it, though. All right.
We're going to go ahead and do it. It went through our professional screener, which was my mother, without any warning flag, so I think it's okay.
Anyway, on to the story. So I'm a very Catholic person. I went to Catholic schools my whole life, and I do a lot involving the church. I guess I'm pretty well-rounded. One night too long ago, I went over to my boyfriend's brother's house. We smoked some weed, which I've done before and never seems to be a problem.
Huh, weird. They're like, religion's a really big part of my life.
No.
Anyways, I was
Nothing
hitting
in
this
the Bible
major
says,
fucking blunt, bro.
I don't think anything in the Bible says you can't smoke.
It doesn't. You can be both, and I fully respect those
Yeah.
decisions. I just think it's funny because it's normally not what I hear, that's all.
Oh, okay.
I like this.
Okay.
You're breaking stereotypes, and I salute you.
We smoked some weed, which I've done before and never seemed to be a problem. However, whatever stuff they had was toxic. As soon as I took one hit, my body froze up and went black. Now, most of what happened is what I heard from the people who were there, since I have little to no memory. They said I was growling in a tone that could never come from my body. I'm 5'2" and 110 pounds, so you're tiny. And I seemed to levitate off the bed after long screaming spells.
Wow.
I also apparently twitched violently. They thought I may have been having a seizure, but whatever it was not holy. All I can remember is all these irrelevant childhood memories flashing through my mind like crazy and everything sounding so far away.
Shout out to Waffle Pog who just followed us on Twitch. I'd also like to say maybe this is why they call it the devil's lettuce, but who knows?
They call it the devil's lettuce?
Yeah, they do. Who knows what it could have been laced with to have this sort of reaction. I don't know why it popped into my head because I'm not a drug expert or anything, but I'm thinking PCP. You folks let us know what you think.
Anyway, my mind, which didn't seem to be my mind, told me I have to say goodbye to my parents and everyone who loves me.
Wow.
I'm just thinking of that one show, the Exorcist show that we watched, where the devil was trying to make her submit in her mind the entire time that she was possessed.
Right, because like in that whole show, the lore behind the demons possessing you is that they can take over your body, but they can't fully like integrate. I forget what word they'd use.
Yeah.
Unless you give it permission to take you over, basically. That show was weird. That show started out really well. It was very scary, and then it turned into something that was just completely different.
Yeah.
Like the whole Friday the 13th. God damn it. Yeah, Freddy and Friday the 13th. Both of those were originally horror films that just turned into like action flicks with like anti-heroes murdering teenagers. So, anyways, back to the email.
I was having somewhat of an out of body experience where I saw myself standing at my own funeral and memorial services. Then, right before everything went completely black and silent, my subconscious told me I have more to do in my life. It's not over. And I snapped out of it and sat up. I remember trying to cry and stop making all these sounds and keeping still, but it's like when I would think of stopping, something would just start again. I was having...
Shout out to 777 who just donated $19
Thank
on
you so
Twitch.
much.
The message he put is, you know why I did this? Because it brings our monthly goal up to $69.
I hate that sound you make. Liz does it too. Okay.
It's so much fun.
I was having trouble falling asleep after that, obviously, but eventually did. I felt groggy for many days after, but seemed to be okay. Whether some actual demonic shit was going on or it was just really bad paranoia/paralysis, it was the scariest shit that's ever happened to me. I've went to confession with a priest and feel much better, but I'll always remember this. Moral of the story is to not get involved in drugs or anything like that. All right. So no more weed, I guess. Sorry if this wasn't even scary or what, and I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but I felt this is at least interesting. Anyways, keep on creeping on, Dana. P.S. Robin, I was on your Etsy and I have a suggestion. You should make acrylic keychains of your little ghost mascot. I swear I'd buy 100 of them.
She swore, make them, she'll buy 100.
I do have to make some. I'm trying to design something that I really, really, really like before I make
acrylic charms.
for Scary-ish in particular, because it's obviously very niche. So
all right, well, there's a lot to unpack in this email. And first of all, her name is Dana, and at some point she levitated off of a bed. So I really hope someone quoted Ghostbusters during that. And hopefully while this was all going on, which sounds like a horrific experience, and I'm very sorry that you had to go through this, you hopefully said there is no Dana, only Zool, which makes it seem like it's not exactly something that's a demon. It's more Babylonian in nature, I think. I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure Zool was a Babylonian god, but I haven't seen Ghostbusters in like a year, so I'm not quoting it totally accurately. My most recent watch of the Ghostbuster franchise was Ghostbusters 2, so you'll forgive me, I hope. That's super intense, and I think it's a good lesson, and it's not the whole lesson that you shouldn't ever do drugs or experiment. My lesson I've learned from this is don't smoke something if you don't know exactly what's in it. I think that's the best thing, and don't share needles. That shit's gross.
Oh, my Lanta. Okay.
Bring your own needles to your heroin party, kids. That's what Adam's telling you. Please don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. I can't believe you. Okay.
I'm going to move on into the final email of the episode. And this one's subject is Demon Fighter, which sounds pretty cool. And it starts
Is it a video
like this. I don't know. It's not a video game. It's not interactive. But it starts like this. Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. So it's Alexis again, in parentheses, she/her. Thank you for sending pronouns. We always appreciate that. I doubt you remember, but I've sent in my own personal stories of what I almost blacked out in the shower. I do remember this one. And possibly had my grandmother visit me in a dream while I was having an anxiety attack in my sleep. Today, these aren't stories of my own, but my father's. That is awesome, folks.
That's
Ask your
awesome.
parents
Yeah,
or your
ask
grandparents for their stories because they have so much.
Stories. I mean, especially if your family is an immigrant family like mine, where they came from a completely different country, they have the craziest stories of when they used to live where they used to live and growing up and things like that, the weird things that they used to do and see, and it's just so cool. You guys do that. Ask your family.
Yeah, see what stories they have, because you'd be shocked. There's like how often people say to us, like, I've never told anyone this, or I only told a couple people this. Like, your older family members probably have experienced more than you, and they're probably holding on to stuff, and if you ask them, it might feel like it's an opportunity for them to open up, and like, that's how you build bridges. Anyways, I'm going to get back to this email.
Actually, how you build bridges is there's trusses and...
I hate you so much. So, these are the stories of her father.
Okay.
For some reason, he happens to have sleep paralysis not exactly often, but consistent enough to where I'm not exactly surprised when he tells me he had another experience. So the first story he told me about was when I was probably about 14. At the time, we had my uncle living with us and a family friend. My dad says he thought he woke up when he realized that he was in the in-between state of dreaming and being awake when he looked down at the foot of his bed. What he saw was something that I still get creeped out about describing. There was a woman sitting at the foot of his bed staring at him. Her skin was paper white and she had long, jet black hair with eyes to match.
It's
so basically the
demon?
chick from The Ring.
Yeah.
Wow, that's super creepy. Eyes to match. He said that his first instinct was to, quote, snatch her ass up and get her off his bed when he realized he couldn't move his arms.
Oh my gosh.
At that point, the woman smiled, revealing razor-sharp teeth. Next, he tried to kick her off the bed, and that's when he realized he was completely paralyzed and started to panic. The woman sensed this, and that's when she started to run her inhumanly long fingers up his body and flipped him onto his stomach.
Oh no!
I have never
this
heard
is weird.
about people being manipulated during
That's scary.
Sleep paralysis. Usually you're just left alone and like tortured by being yelled at or whispered to. He said he could feel her fingers running up his back when he started reciting prayers in his head, and suddenly he woke up. That's not the first time. That's not even probably the fifth time we've heard of people praying during sleep paralysis when something like terrible is happening to them, and it snaps them out of it. He told me...
Sounds like a weird alien type creature.
I don't know, man. This sounds... I'll reserve judgment until the end of the email.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking it's a demon. He told me that both my uncle and the family friend that were living with us had the exact same dreams at different points in their lives.
What?
I would throw them the fuck out. Like, what evil shit did you bring into my house? The next one was just a year ago, and I was in my freshman year of college. He called me one night and we were having a conversation when he told me that he had another sleep paralysis experience. During that week, we had a family member that I don't believe I ever met pass away. At this point, my grandmother had been living with us for a little while, and since it was either one of her brothers or cousins, everyone went over to our house to meet up and spend a little time with each other. For a few days after the family gathering, my pit bull puppy kept sniffing and scratching at the underside of one of our couches. My dad thought it was bizarre,
suspicious,
but thought maybe she just got a toy stuck under there. Totally rational thing to think. I 100% agree. However, when he checked to get it for her, there was nothing there. She continued to do this for a few days when my dad was watching TV on the same couch and fell asleep. When he woke up randomly in the middle of the night, he said he instantly knew he was paralyzed. So it's not like that other time where he had to figure it out by trying to move.
Yeah. He
says his eyes were partially, if not completely closed, but yet he could see the entire layout of the living room clearly. So almost like an out-of-body experience. After a few seconds, he saw a dark figure materialize from underneath the couch to stand in front of him. Before my dad could catch on to what was happening, the figure started punching him in the head. The only thing my dad was thinking was, quote, if only I could get my hands on you, and praying for God to give him the opportunity to snatch the figure up and protect himself. That's what shocks me the most. My father wasn't afraid, but wanted to get his hands on the figure. That's that fight or flight experience, or like the fight or flight
reflex
instinct. Because it's like, if your first instinct is to fight and then you're paralyzed, you don't instantly shift into flight or fear. It's just anger that you're being held back. So I kind of like relate to that.
I definitely don't fight necessarily unless I really have to. But if it's like a bug or something, I'll definitely run.
Yeah, you sure will. And you'll scream and cry. Well, not cry, but you'll scream and freak out and be like, kill it!
Except for whatever that one bug that landed on your computer, and I totally diced that thing in half with a CD case.
That was a moth. You did scream, you freaked out, and then you grabbed a CD case and ninja started at my computer.
It was
and
great.
That's when the problems with our internet started. Not really, but I think those two things do match up. But I don't think there's any correlation. Okay, getting back to the story. Before the figure could bring its arms down to land another blow, my dad's arm shot up and actually grabbed the figure. What happens next gives me chills. For a split second, both my father and the figure were in complete shock. My dad says that the figure was more shocked than him and panicked, even letting out a scream before it completely disappeared, and my dad woke up. After that night, my dog stopped whining and scratching at the area underneath the couch. My dad thinks that both times were a result of letting someone into our home that had something negative or evil attached to them, and it happened to linger. 100% called it. Just saying, my dad used to tell me that stuff when I was younger. He would tell me, like, if any of your friends come over here and they have anything attached to them, I'll throw them the fuck out. They'll never be allowed in my house again. My dad was very superstitious growing up. I know I've told the story before about my dad having friends over, and it was a guy and his new girlfriend, and they all sat around drinking, just talking, and his girlfriend was like sitting there like really wide-eyed talking to everyone, and then she like shook herself and was like, oh, I fell asleep, and she had been talking to them in her sleep state. And he was so creeped out, he was like, get her the fuck out of my house and never bring her back here. He still talks about it to this day. The email wraps up, those two stories are the ones that I can recall off the top of my head, and I'm sorry if this email ended up being so long. It is totally okay.
Yeah, dude, don't even worry about it.
With that being said, I do love and appreciate you both and the podcast so much.
Thank you so much.
You guys are still the only ones that I listen to, in parentheses, on Spotify. Shout out Spotify. And you guys brighten up my day when I find myself listening. Keep on creeping on, and I'll hopefully write you guys soon. Love, Alexis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexis. We really appreciate you sending that in. And it's always nice to hear from folks that we've already heard from once, because we get an idea that, like, you're still out there, you're still listening, and you have more to tell us. And we always want to hear it. So it's really good. I think the first one was a demon. I think both of those things were dragged into your house by someone else, just like your dad said. I subscribe to that 100%.
So thank you, everyone who showed up for the stream and hung out with us and talked to us. It was awesome. Thank you for hanging around, listening to the stories. Please send us your homegrown horrors. Ask your family, your friends. I'm sure they do have all these super cool stories that they haven't shared with you just yet.
If you want to send those, email storytime@scarish.com. You can go to our website, scarish.com, which I swear to God will be updated. I haven't done it in 2 weeks, but that's okay. Contact us still works. So click on Contact Us, fill out the form. It comes directly to us. You can also tweet at us at ScarishPod, Instagram at ScarishPodcast, or message us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/ScarishPodcast. So if you want to join some of our more persistent communities, you can go to Discord, and by doing, to do that, go to Scarish.com and find our Discord link. All of our social media links are on the right-hand side of that page. You just got to scroll down and you'll see all the logos. If you click on Discord, you'll jump right in. Or you can join the Scarish Spooky Friends group, which is attached to our Facebook page as well, which is a lot of us just posting funny stuff that we find on Facebook that's sometimes scary-related and sometimes it's just funny. And it's a good time. And we appreciate all the folks that contribute to it. One more big shout-out to Carly. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the help that you've given us setting up our social medias like Discord, which we would not have without you. And shout out to Andrew, because you are one of our OG fans, and you are very special to us. And
so happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank all of you folks for everything you do. Robin, if folks wanted to give us the monies, how can they do that?
If you go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, there are a whole bunch of tiers on there starting at $1. They all have different goodies that you can get, early access, things like that. We will make extra content. I know we're really behind on doing that. So all our patrons that we have now, we are so thankful for you and appreciate all your support. We seriously could not do this without you. Obviously, we have stupid freaking mailbox problems, for Christ's sake.
Like that she points at me. I didn't even have keys to the mailbox for the first year and a half. Hashtag just saying.
Yeah, and if you want to do one-time donations, you don't like the whole monthly thing, go to ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations, and all those donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup. we would not be here without the support of all of you. So
Indeed. So I think that's just about everything that we have for this episode 63.
Yeah. Level Up Expo. Come see me.
Come see Robin at Level Up Expo. Don't forget that May is about to hit, folks, and when May hits, we're buying our tickets for the Winchester Mystery House on June 9th. We're going to post about it on our Scarish, Spooky Friends, media, everything that we have, and our social networks, whatever, to let you know and coordinate with you when we're going to get ours so you can get yours. And I'm very excited to go. And I think that's just about everything that we have. So, Robin, why don't you send us out?
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later next week.
Bye.
Sometime. Thanks, bye.
Bye.